Okay, I believe I have already shown this book. In the cover you can see a Soviet chess set. The book deals only with a middle game which comes from the Sicilian opening and which has a d6 and d6 pawn because it's the most common, the author says, for the Sicilian open, for the open Sicilian. However, I believe the book is really important for another reason. You can learn a series of moves that bring you to a middle game, but then you don't know what to do at all. You don't have any idea how to continue. Instead, this book gives you more than 150 exercises only upon the middle game, which will make you aware of how to play the middle game. So you will practically learn the Open Sicilian by yourself because you will find the best moves, the one that you don't continue to move one piece only but you develop all the pieces. But then, differently from your opponent, you will have studied this book, and studying this book will open your mind to possible ideas to implement in the middle game. And then, obviously, more ideas you have, more chances you have to win the game. So, I would like to show you one thing. I will start to show you position 101. As you can see, this book is amazing because it has the QR code. So you are on a daily commute on a train, you just put your phone on the QR code and boom, it takes you out the entire game and that position. So you can learn from it. Now, on position 101, it's black to move. So I would like you to pause the video and think what you should play if you were black. Okay, I also pause the video and now I would like to show you position 101 but from the beginning, so you also see the moves. Why it's important to see the moves? Because in the book he gives the move that bring you to that position, and seeing the moves you have an idea of why the pieces were in a certain square, which means you know some of the ideas that white or black had. The game is between Artsuskevich versus Osnos in Leningrad 1958. Sorry if I butcher the name of the two people that played it, it's my fault, sorry. e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and knight f6. Knight c3, d6. Okay, so we also see some moves and we have time to ask ourselves why this was played, because he wants to control e5 and so on and so forth. Bishop g5, e6, queen d2, bishop e7, long castle, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, castle, f4, h6, and now he plays bishop h4, queen e5. Now there is a move that I found interesting and strange at the same time, because I wouldn't think white would play such a move. It was queen g1, boom, returning to the 4th rank. I think this kind of move are difficult to see, and it's kind of interesting, honestly. That's why I wanted to show you the moves. Bishop d7, g4, rook a c8, and bishop e1, it's move 14. Now it's black to move. It's the position that I told you in the beginning, to pause and think. Here it says, first of all, let's see what he asked in the exercise. It was violence or pressure increase. Black to move. Here it says queen c7. If black plays queen c7 to avoid the threat knight d5, so why knight d5? Because it's a discovery, right? Then bishop d3 leads to distributed chances. I think the offer for distributed chances means equality, equal possibilities, right? So let's return back. And the next move that he analyzed was bishop c6. With bishop c6, however, he can also allow it or even provoke it. Now white can accept the invitation with knight d5. Only after queen d8, he should not play for the bishop pair with queen takes e7 because it's a big mistake. And let's see why. Okay. Tac, tac. And here it says, because given the weakness of e4, this leads to an almost losing position. Wow. So the weakness of e4. I don't know, it doesn't seem... I think the problem is this rook that is fixed here, but who knows if he's able... No, it probably is not able to keep it. Okay, he's not able to keep it, so let's see what happens. After queen d8, he has, instead of knight takes e7, that is a mistake, he should play knight takes f6, bishop takes f6, and bishop d3. But of course the game can also be more quiet, it seems, because white can play bishop d3. Let's see, bishop d3 to which move? Ah, okay. He says practically that so we were like here. He played, and this probably was here. He played that move to attack the queen. Okay. After this, or no, this was the position. After bishop c6, he says you could play this, that is more quiet than bishop, knight d5. So then he could play queen c7, and is difficult to evaluate, it seems. This is interesting because clearly he's not giving us a computer-generated analysis that is many moves long, but it's just giving a move. However, there is another move that is also interesting. Here, I think, we are in this position, so let's see. After bishop c6, that was the important one, white could play g5, h take g5. Here it says h take g5, but I think it's a mistake because it should be f take g5, right? Then knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and black plays queen takes e2, knight f6, bishop takes f6, and g takes f6, and g6. And it seems it's a little difficult to understand. But so it seems there was another course in the game. Very interesting. So give me a second that I put the position back to what it was. Okay, we came back to the beginning position from which the author asked us to find the move for black. In this case, it seems that the idea that we need to understand is this discovery attack, okay? And once you understand that the problem for black is the discovery attack, you need to eliminate the piece which makes the discovery. So the game, this is the best move, it seems. Rook takes c3 is the move black should have played, and which black did play in the game. The game continues with bishop takes c3, queen take a2, bishop d3, and now there is a very important move. Unfortunately, the author or the publisher put the diagram after. In reality, he should have put a diagram in this position and ask once more, you're black, what are you going to play? Because, again, we are just doing tactical exercise in which everything is clear. You're going to be checkmate, you're going to get a pawn, you're going to win a piece, blah, 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 blah. But in real games, you don't have that most of the time. And so you have quiet moves that have a meaning behind. And that meaning makes all the difference. Here, black played, boom, e5. With this very strong blockade, black fixes the weakness on e4 and locks out the bishop c3, right? He blocks it. In doing so, it takes advantage of the fact that white must keep the g5 square under control. Why? Because if he plays f takes e5, black will play knight takes e4, winning the game. And you say, why winning the game? Again, try to see without moving the pieces, because this is the minimum that will be asked of you in a tournament game. So after f takes e5, knight takes e4, the threat is bishop g5. And if you block in some ways that bishop g5 giving check, there is checkmate here, okay? So that's why. So watch here, 1, 2, threat is this. You block and boom, checkmate. So that's why f takes e5 not good at all as move. Okay? So what did white play at this point? Obviously there are two pieces here that are kind of attacking there. They are not the majority, but there are these two other pieces that are also going in that direction. So it seems that this is the best move, g5. And after g5 there was h takes g5, f takes g5, knight h5, and now there is h4, knight f4. This knight is kind of dangerous by now. Queen e3, rook d8. And now there is a huge mistake, which is b3. It's comprehensible, because it's understandable, because he wants to control the squares where the queen can go, right? But once more, you are black. What would you play? Black played rook c8 because at that point things start to become a little dangerous here, right? So obviously this didn't want to move, so he played bishop c4. So why he didn't want to play this, for example? Because there is this, right? That's a good idea. Or let's say that you play this move, right? Because you say, ha, look at me, I have defended. Well, it seems you didn't. Boom. Amazing, right? Do you see why this move is amazing? Tell me why. Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. So, if he takes, what do you do? Okay, you cannot do queen a1, but you could do something else, right? For example, you could play queen a5 and you would escape, so not so good. What would you play? Let's see. Okay, for what I can see, I believe the next move by black should be this one. Why? Because if he takes and you have a fork. But obviously he doesn't take, right? And he needs to go away with the king, because the next move is once more a fork. So he goes here, for example. And here it becomes a little difficult, right? Because this move starts to give a big problem to white. What is the big problem? That he cannot go back, he cannot go here, so he cannot do this, because this is attacking, so this is pinned. He just goes here, right? But if you go here, this is a checkmate. So that's why that was kind of important, right? So at least we saw why b3 wasn't the good move we thought it was. Now let's go back, because otherwise I don't think you're doing a good job. Let's see. I think this was on f4, queen on e3, rook d8, b3, mistake, rook c8. So he played bishop c4 to avoid the problems that we have seen. And once more, pause the video and try to find the right continuation. Again, the point is that this is weak in a sense, and this is trying to protect, but he can't. Black played d5, and after he takes d5, bishop f5, threatening checkmate, bishop b2, blocking the view, bishop a3, queen takes e5, bishop takes b2, queen takes b2, and of course now there is the final blow, which wins the queen. I hope you can find it. If you can't, this should be the move. Knight e2. Boom! And you say, no, watch, I can play this. Not really, because there is this check, you need to take, and this is checkmate. Okay, so knight e2 finish the game. I hope you enjoyed this other example from the book of Karsten Mueller, Typical Sicilian, Effective Middle Game Training. I believe is an essential book. It's a very good and original idea. I think one just for fun or just for growing as a player, you should buy all the books that Mueller has made. He also made one on the French, one on the Queen's Gambit, and watch those positions to understand what you would play. Then maybe you miss, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that you will learn a lot of middle game patterns. And these middle game patterns will be middle game positions that can happen also in other opening, and so you are covered from thanks to this book and the other books made by Karsten Mueller. Thank you very much, hope you enjoyed the video, let's see you next time.